Hey, good morning. Well, this is not the video I expected to be making. I thought right now I'd be riding my gravel bike on one of my favorite little rides, testing out some new carbon wheels and getting on with things and telling you all about it in an excited and familiar manner that you've come to know. However, this happened last night. You know that little voice inside your head that says, "Hey, Granny Gear, maybe you should check out this rear hub sooner, so make sure you can actually swap the free hub before you do it, the night before you go on your ride today to make a film, the video and all that. Maybe you should check that first." And you go, nah, how hard could it be? Swap free hubs without even tools these days. Well, not on this hub, because this hub, to swap the free hub, needs a little axle vise thingy, one of those little soft-jawed axle vices. Who uses those anymore? That tool will be right alongside my my tapered crank puller that I haven't used in like 10 years. And you know what? You'd think I'd have one of those little axle vices, wouldn't you? But apparently I don't. I think I always used to borrow one back in the cup and cone Shimano days. Well, okay, no ride this morning, off to the bike shop. So I'm heading to the bike shop, and hopefully we can get this sorted, get my end caps off and my free hub swap so I can run Shimano cassette, which what I need to do on my Linsky. So we shall see, and hopefully get that done in the right amount of time before it gets too hot. I will go on that ride I was planning to do. Stay tuned and wish me luck. Gotta get here early when it first opens. Gotta go ride. Open, open, open. Back to where the mechanics live. Guys with the tools. Okay. Well, that didn't go perfectly well. Had a little bit of a snafu there, but I think we overcame. It's apart, the new free hub body's on there. Now I just gotta go home and get it all put together. On my way. Okay, so here's the deal with that axle design and that hub. It uses two threaded end caps, a thread on to each end of an axle. All right, but the axle is captured within the bearings of the hub, so you can't take the axle out without driving the bearings out. So in order to remove the axle caps, you take two 15mm cone wrenches and you work them against each other. And unfortunately for me, the one that came loose was the side that I didn't care about. It was the side that wasn't the drive side. So I had to hold that small aluminum threaded axle with something and break the other side loose to get it out, because now I've got the wrong side axle cap off. Well, they tell you to clamp that in an axle vise, but you know, a soft-jawed aluminum axle vise, well, that's fine when we all had steel axles like Shimano used for years with their cup and cone. You can't hurt those with an aluminum vise. But this axle is aluminum, and there's no guarantee it's harder than the vise, and it was paper thin, the end of that axle, and there's very few threads to actually grab. I'm not a fan. There's so many hubs I've used now, inexpensive hubs and really nice hubs that are much easier to deal with than that, to change your free hub and your axle caps and stuff. So anyway, hopefully it's going to work out. Gonna go home and reinstall it all, put some tires on, and hopefully get out on a ride, because I really think there's going to be great wheels. But that was an unexpected little bit of trouble. Anyway, we'll see. So here's a tip if you're using the WTB sealant, which I've had good luck with. When you're taking a tire or wheel off and you're not going to use it again right away, while it's still wet and the sealant's kind of gummy in here, clean your wheel, wash it off, wipe it down, because it leaves a pretty good residue, and once it dries on there, it's pretty hard to remove. So do it now, save yourself a whole lot of work. Tech tip, free, no charge. Home Depot buckets, totally useful. So here's a question for you. If you find a little bit of goat head thorns in your tire when you're riding, do you take them out or leave them in, assuming you're tubeless? I say leave them in while you're riding, because those little thorns, if they do break off inside your tire, they're going to be like little tire plugs, and they probably won't even try and leak very much. If you pull them out when you're riding, well, how's your sealant? Is it dry? Well, if it is, you're in trouble. But here's the thing, when you get back to your garage and you're swapping tires around, should you look for those little thorns in your tire and take them out? I say you should, because if you leave them in long term and you ever need to put a tube in there when you're out on the trail, you're going to have 2 flat tires really quickly. So anyway, something to think about. Well, that was a bit of a battle. I kind of didn't expect that. I was really impressed. Now, it's a WTB tire and a WTB rim. The tape is all fresh. And you know, WTB, underneath their rim tape, they put a little plastic strip. Now, I don't think, you can't really see it, but it's under the center in the rim well. And what that's designed to do is, you know how over time, as you air up a tubeless tire and you use it, the air pressure dimples your tape, makes just little depressions, and well, it's fine, it doesn't leak, but it does make it hard to remount a tire later on as the tape gets old, because that's right where your tire bead is trying to get an air seal, and it's got these little depressions, so it makes it harder to air up your tire. So they got a little strip in here that keeps the tape from dipping into the spoke holes where it's drilled. Kind of cool. So you know, this is a 23mm rim, by the way, kind of a Mama Bear width, between 21 and 25, a little unusual, but that should do just fine. So the rear tire, I was going to say, that was a bit of a fight. At first it aired up, caught with the floor pump, but with the core out of the Presta valve, very impressive. That's a pretty well used tire, so that was awesome. But man, I had a devil of a time getting the last few inches to pop onto the bead, the tire seat, get the bead onto the tire seat, you know, that pop ping. That was a bit of a battle. I used a little bit of soapy water, and finally it's 60 pounds. It finally started to seal, but that's kind of unusual. Anyway, I got it, so onto the front. Ha ha ha! I'm riding them. Well, it's getting a little late to do a ride now. Got dinner going at home in my Instant Pot. Man, I love those Instant Pots. Anyway, I'm gonna ride up here a little bit just to make sure that they hold air and shift and brake and all that. And then I'm gonna stop and we'll find some shade. We'll talk about how I'm gonna go about this. Stand by. Woohoo! Well, here they are, all mounted up and ready to go. So just to bring you up to speed in case you're coming in on this video now and hadn't seen the other ones, what I was looking to do was a 2-part comparison. I was looking for that sweet spot of a gravel wheel, for carbon gravel wheel, that I felt I gained more than I lost. Because in 2 other sets of carbon wheels for gravel, although I enjoyed the quicker response and the better steering and the snappiness and all that you get with a good carbon wheel, I was quite disappointed in how stiffly they rode. They were, you know, literally bouncing me down the trail. There's a word I'm looking for that, how that was. Oh, I know, thanks Captain Jack. That word is egregious. Yeah, it was just too much. Now I know I'm going to expect, you know, to, what do they say? Compliance is flex. You know, so something that's more compliant is flexing more, and that's typically going to be true of an alloy wheel. That's not necessarily all bad unless it's noodling all over the place. But I wanted to see if I could get the benefits of the lighter weight and the stiffness of the carbon wheel with less drawbacks. And what caught my eye, if you look at the Wilderness Trail Bikes website, what they say about their CZR wheel, there's interesting section of the ad copy that points out specifically they designed this wheel to be more comfortable ride experience. Those are my words. Their words will be up on the screen. But that caught my eye. That interested me because I thought, well, if they're saying that, kind of makes me think that there are other people that think the carbon wheels for gravel bikes might be a little bit overdone. I look at some of these deep carbon wheels that are supposedly aero for gravel, which is, you know, I don't know, man. I don't think so. But in any case, when you look at that, I think, wow, those short spokes, stiffer, deeper carbon wheel, it's just got to ride horribly. But I guess, you know, if you're just trying to win Unbound or something and you're capable of that, yeah, I guess you don't really care whether your wheels are comfortable. But I do. Can I have it all? I'm not really sure. And maybe these aren't going to be any different. I'm going to find out. So what I've done is I've mounted the same tires I was just running on the Alloy Hunt 21mm wide gravel alloy wheels. I say alloy twice. Department of Redundancy Department. And I'm running them with a little bit adjusted pressure. These are slightly wider rims at 23mm internal. So I used the SRAM calculator. They got this cool little tire pressure calculator. I don't normally use those. I usually kind of do my own thing. But I thought for this test, I've been running these WTB 42mm Resolutes at 35 rear and 34 front on the alloy wheels. SRAM said I should drop a half a pound for the 23mm wide wheel. Well, it's pretty hard, a half a pound. My little compressor doesn't even do half pounds. So I went down 1 pound. So right now I'm at 34 rear, 33 front. That's where I'm going to keep it, and we'll see how it works out from here. On the days where I do extremely rough road, I was running them more down into 30 on the other wheels, and I'll probably drop these down to be the same because I don't want to prejudice things. But that's what I'm going to do for now. I'm just going to go take it out on a couple different rides that are my litmus test rides. I really want to see what the difference is. Maybe what I'm looking for simply doesn't exist. Maybe I'm just an alloy wheel kind of old fart who just wants to ride his bike in comfort and doesn't care how fast he is. I don't know. I hate to think that. Maybe it's true. In any case, got lots of riding to do. I probably won't be on these seriously until next week. When I do, I'll report back. I will let you know as soon as I know. And then once I get the wheels sorted out, I'm going to start moving through all that little pile of tires I've got and see if I can find a tire that eclipses these WT Resolutes. Because I tell you what, it's not going to be easy to do because I really like these tires. Anyway, that's it for now for Granny Gear. That's all I got to say. You guys have a great week or weekend, and as always, go ride your bike.